Stanford University.
Yo, it's Phil Zimbardo, Professor Emeritus at Stanford University, and this is our Stanford University Open Office Hours that we invite you to come and ask questions, and we will answer your questions. And I'm especially concerned about all of you who are in my classes in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000 who never came to my office hours. And I was sitting there wasting my time talking to my friend, why aren't they going to come? They don't really like you. I think they like me. No, they don't like you. That's why they don't come. So if you prove that you like me, whether you're a student in the past or you should have been a student, come, ask questions, and I'll do my best to respond. Me too. The thing I'm most excited about right now in the year 2009 is my new Heroic Imagination project. I've been wallowing in evil since I was a little kid growing up in the South Bronx ghetto with the Stanford prison study and other research I've done on what makes good people turn evil. And now I want to know what makes good people become heroic, what makes ordinary people become heroes. And it turns out there's almost no psychological research on heroism other than interviews with Holocaust survivors, of Christians who helped Jews. But there's no research on the heroic, decisive moment when somebody defies authority, when somebody risks their life to help someone else. And so what I'm doing is, it's the flip side of my view of evil. I'm saying most evil is done by ordinary people in certain circumstances. I want to argue most heroes are ordinary people. It's the heroic act that's extraordinary. We've had a recent demonstration of what heroism is all about. On a New York subway, there's 75 people standing there, and a white guy falls across the tracks. Everybody freezes, as usually happens, except one person, Wesley Autry, a 50-year-old construction worker. He's got a reason not to get involved. He's got his 2 daughters. Instead, he turns to a stranger, says, take care of my kids, and jumps on the tracks, gets the guy from across the tracks, between the tracks, just as the subway train goes over them. Wesley and the guy, the combined height is 20.5 inches. The clearing of the train is 21 inches. A half an inch would have taken his skull off. And at the end, they said, you know, fortunately he survived. And he said, I did what anyone could do, but I did what everyone ought to do. And so that's the moral imperative. How do you get people concerned about other people that you don't know anything about? And so if you have any ideas about how to make people heroes, what would go into a course on heroism, what would go into a meaningful movie or animation or reality TV show, come to my office hours and share your ideas with me. Tell them about time. Okay, I just got reminded. One of the other things I'm doing, which is really exciting, I've been doing it for a very long time, is the study of psychological time. That is, I just wrote a book called The Time Paradox, and it summarizes 30 years of research I did at Stanford with many undergraduate and graduate students. And what's important about it for you is that it has a lot of new ideas that will transform your life. Because all of us are slaves to time. That is, we are trapped in a time zone. That some of us are trapped, we live in the past, or we live in the present, or we live in the future. That means all of the decisions you make are made without a full appreciation that everything needs a temporal balance, that some things need to be focused on the past, the present, and the future. And so what we argue is that if you're excessively focused on the future, as most Stanford students and faculty are, then you're going to be successful, but it comes at a high price. You give up family, you give up friends, you give up sleep, and you know what? You give up fun. You have to bring some of the past into your life because the past is where family is. That's where your identity is. So the time paradox gives you the lesson of if you want to lead a satisfying, fulfilling, full life, an enriched life, you have to develop this optimal time balance of being moderately future-oriented, not excessively so like many of us are, including me. You have to have a dash of present hedonism to put the fun and joy in your life and energy. And you have to bring the good things from the past into the present. So you have a rounded temporal perspective, and you're going to be really much happier. Although I am most well known for the ye old Stanford prison experiment done back in 1971, the thing I feel best about, I guess, in my whole career is the research I did on shyness in adults. We ask the question, what makes people shy? What makes adults shy? When you're shy, what are you monitoring? What about you tells you you're shy? How do you behave? In what ways are you different from people who are not shy? Are there different kinds of shyness? Are women more shy than men? Does shyness vary with cultures? And we began to answer those questions in our research. I wrote a book, Shyness, What It Is, What to Do About It, and The Shy Child. And then we wanted to know, can we use the information we got, me and undergraduates and graduate students at Stanford, to help people? So if you're interested in shyness, come and ask me a question. Why? If you're not shy, then I'm sure you know somebody who is, who could use some help. And I'll be here for you. So there's 4 different topics that I'd like you to make comments on or ask questions about. And underneath the video that we're making now that you're watching, there's a place for comments and questions. Yeah, we're going to pay attention. We're going to read them, and we'll get back to you next week. Thanks so much.
For more, please visit us at stanford.edu.